Hi everyone, George Farmer here, Tropica Aquarium Plants content creator, and welcome to this new series of videos on this Fluval Flex aquarium that I've just aquascaped. And there will be a new video released every week giving you updates on this. Now at the time of filming, there's a lot more of you staying at home, and this gives you opportunities to maybe enjoy your aquariums more, use them as a therapeutic tool, and maybe also consider how you can improve your aquarium. Now, I'd really like to encourage you to maybe support your local retailers, your local Tropica dealers. A lot of them may not be open to the public right now, but many of them do offer a web shop or online service or even a personal delivery service. So consider maybe improving your own aquariums by investing in maybe some plants or new plant care products, etc. So let's move on to how we created this lovely little aquarium. I really love the Fluval Flex. It's a very affordable and accessible aquarium system. It takes a lot of the guesswork out about having to choose separate lighting, filtration, etc. because it comes fitted with lighting that's suitable to grow easy plants. It comes with a built-in filtration system, and it also has space for a heater in the rear. So I'll take you through the whole process, exactly how we created this aquarium using only 1-2 grow plants and one pot of Anubias Petite, the beautiful, easy epiphyte plant. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is add our substrate. In this case, we're using Tropica Aquarium soil powder. This is perfect for Tropica 1-2 grow plants as it has a very fine grain size, making it ideal for root penetration, and it also gives a greater sense of scale. Here we're using 2 3-litre bags, giving us 6 litres of the soil powder altogether. We just need to bear in mind that we don't block that left-hand filter inlet. Now it's a case of using a paintbrush just to make the soil nice and flat, making sure again we don't cover that left-hand filter inlet. Tropica soil and Tropica soil powder contain nutrients to feed the plant roots, and it also has a high cation exchange capacity, which helps to take in nutrients from the water and make those available to the plant roots as well. It helps to buffer the pH and it lowers the KH, making it suitable for most fish, shrimp and snails. Next we select our hardscape material. In this case we're using Spear Fingerwood, which is great because it offers lots of opportunity to attach our epiphyte plants if required, and it just has lots of details and is a very beautiful and high impact piece of hardscape. We're not using any stones in this aquascape today. I really wanted to leave lots of open space so we can plant as heavily as possible with our Tropica 1-2 grow plants. We position the wood almost centrally in the aquascape, and this gives us lots of room to plant around it to create an island kind of composition, lots of space for the foreground, midground and background plants, and then finally we need to attach our epiphyte plants to the wood, which is the Anubias Petite. The wood is partially buried and pre-soaked, so hopefully keep it from floating once we've added our aquarium water. Now it's time to choose our plants. We're using only Tropica 1-2 grow plants apart from the one pot of Anubias Petite. So we've divided into a distinct foreground, midground and background planting plan, with the foreground being Marcellea hirsuta and Liliopsis brasiliensis, the midground being Starogyne repens and Helanthrium quadricostatus, and the background being Hygrophila siamensis 53B. These are all easy category plants, which means they should do well in a non-CO2 injected aquarium with relatively low lighting, although we are using great nutrition with the Tropica Aquarium soil powder, and we'll be using Tropica Premium Nutrition liquid fertilizer as well. Tropica 1-2 grow plants offer many advantages over the regular potted plants. You physically get more quantity of plants because they're babies, and they're guaranteed to be free from algae, pest snails, pesticides and disease, as they are grown in Tropica's own laboratories in Denmark. Preparing our Tropica 1-2 grow plants are very simple. Firstly, peel off the lid and then rinse off the liquid growth media. This is very rich in nutrients and it's important to rinse it thoroughly, otherwise it can potentially trigger algae growth. Another great advantage to the plants growing in this liquid is that the plants are already adapted to growing underwater, so they will immediately start growing once planted in your aquarium. Once the plant has been rinsed, we divide it up into as many portions as possible. The more portions you can split, the more individual plants you can plant into the soil and the better overall coverage you will get. For this reason, 1-2 grow plants are of great value because you can plant a relatively large area with just 1 cup. Here you can see how many plants you get from just 1 pot each of the Liliopsis brasiliensis and Marsilea hirsuta. Now I would prepare all of the other species in the same way. Using a planting tray like this is a top tip when it comes to planting the complete aquarium. Also note the spray bottle that's used to prevent the plants from drying out. Now it's time to plant. I prefer to plant into dry soil as it produces less mess and I find the plants stay anchored better. The Starogyne repens is planted using aquascaping tweezers around the base of the wood. This will eventually form an attractive mound shape around the wood that can be trimmed back as needed. Trimming will also produce new side shoots that will encourage an attractive, dense bushy effect. Next, the Marsilea hirsuta and Liliopsis brasiliensis are planted around the foreground. I have mixed the species together that will help to create a more natural look. These are slow growing plants and it will be interesting to see how they do over the coming weeks, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications enabled so you don't miss the updates. Now the Holanthium quadricostatus is planted in the midground. This is a fast grower that sends out new runners to form a carpet. These runners will need to be trimmed in order to prevent the plant from overtaking the whole aquarium. The background is now planted with Hygrophila siamensis 53B. This fast-growing stem plant should form a great backdrop in a matter of weeks. Eventually it will need trimming, and the cuttings can be replanted to increase overall planting density. The final plant we're adding is Anubias petite. To prepare this potted plant, we simply remove the whole plant and separate the 2 halves of the mineral wool. Next we remove as much of the mineral wool as possible from the roots and rhizome from the Anubias. This process is made easier by using aquascaping tweezers to comb out the wool. Doing this underwater also makes this process much easier. Next we carefully split the Anubias into several portions ready for attaching to our wood. Anubias is a slow growing epiphyte plant that needs attaching to wood or rocks. The nature of this wood in particular means that the Anubias can be attached very simply by gently pushing the plants in between the gaps in the branches. Over time, the roots and the rhizome will grow and attach themselves securely to the wood. Now it's time to fill the aquarium with water. I pump in the water directly using a colander that prevents the water from disturbing the soil and the plants. Once the aquarium is filled, we switch on the filter and heater and set the aquarium lights to come on for 8 hours using a plug-in timer. Unfortunately, after filling the aquarium, the wood decided to float, so a small rock was added to weigh the wood down. Over time the rock will be removed once the wood has become completely waterlogged and stable. So that's it for this first video on how to create a successful aquarium. We hope it has provided some inspiration and education to hopefully encourage you to make your own aquarium a success. Make sure you're subscribed to the Tropica Aquarium Plants YouTube channel for regular updates on this aquarium, including its plant development, maintenance tips, and the use of various Tropica plant care products such as premium nutrition and potentially some CO2 injection in the future. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.